If you have kids but haven't picked out a guardian yet, what happens if you suddenly pass? We're going to break it all down next and ask Nick that exact question. Stay with us. Welcome into Complete Estate Planning. Glad to have you with us. Please subscribe if you haven't done that already. We appreciate that support. We got a good question we're going to dig into today, Nick. And I think this is probably a common one for parents, right? And here's the situation. You have two little kids, no idea who to pick as a guardian for them. What happens if you don't have anyone in your will? Will the court just decide for you? I know that's a fear for a lot of parents. So how do we look at this, Nick?
Yeah, so you're right. So, and this is whether this applies, actually, it's a great question. It applies in two circumstances, my answer. One is if your will is silent and doesn't say who the guardians are, or two, if you don't have a will at all, then yes, someone has to pick if you're not here to do it. Okay, so we can't have the kids just, be homeless, obviously. And the problem is, if you don't do it, the only one left to do it is the county probate court. So the way I look at it, and look, the hard question here is, who do we trust to take care of our kids? There's no one that is perfect, most likely. Okay, there's probably not a lot of people who have the same financial views, same educational views, same work ethic views, same views about athletics, about activity, about religion. And if you find someone who's 6 for 6, they live far away. Okay, so you're never going to get 7 for 7. So I tell people, I would always rather you give me a mid-grade pick than leave it up to the court, unless the county probate judge is your next door neighbor and best friend. I'd rather you give me a bad pick than no pick at all. Okay, now this is hard, though. So I understand it. My wife and I had trouble with this. I do this for a living. This was our hardest question to figure out. And we kept looking for the perfect person, the clone of my wife. Doesn't happen. She's not a twin. So what we started doing is we started going backwards, like a reverse draft. And that actually was very helpful for us. And this isn't really like legal advice, more practical, but I've talked about this with a number of young couples, and their eyes light up and they come back to the next meeting and they say it's been really helpful. Because if you're looking for who's the perfect person, they aren't there. I have a lot of people that I really, really like, but then you really scrutinize them and you hate everything about them when you're imagining them taking your kids, right? That's a whole different level of scrutiny. And so what we did is I tell people, write down everyone who's possible, all your siblings, all your parents, all your friends, anyone who you would ever even put on the draft board, right? Even if there's no way they're going to get drafted, but all the graduating seniors who are declaring for the draft. And we went backwards. And then we said, all right, let's pick 3 that no way in hell would we ever pick them. Cross off, cross off, cross off. Okay. Who's 3 more? Who's the next 3 that we would never pick? And we kind of eliminated from worst. And then that gave us our best options that we had, because you only have the people that you have. And it got us down to a list of about our top 6. And, from there we said, hey, these are the only people that are actually real contenders. Now let's rank them, in order from there. So for us, going from bottom to top allowed us to get clarity and pick our best options first, second, and third, where we kept looking for the perfect person, the clone of my wife, which doesn't exist, and then we kept striking out. So I know that's kind of a side answer to your question, but you should always pick instead of letting the government pick or go into foster care. I would rather take your least favorite friend than spinning the big 6 wheel and hoping for the best. Okay, so whatever you give me has to be better than some guy or some gal who's never heard of you and never met you before and doesn't know anything about your family picking. So there's your real answer. Yes to your question, but don't ever do it that way. Don't ever leave that to chance. You pick. If you don't have anyone good, give me someone who is a mid-round pick. Okay, because anything's better than nothing.
And when you do have someone that's in that position where they say, okay, Nick, I'm going to give you Bill and Lisa today, although I don't think they're our favorites. Is this something you discuss? Like, do you say, okay, let's check back in a year and discuss it again? Like, how often are you following up with them to determine if they've actually found someone better?
Yeah, good question. So first off, I say, do you have anyone better? Because it's not, hey, they're not great. Then the question is, well, who could I sub in for them that's better? They may be your best choice, but I like to confirm that on the front end. And then also, like every 3 to 4 years, we like to do a review or a checkup. And we always review all of our decision makers when we do our checkups. Now I tell people, hey, if anything happens to these people, call me at any point. If they go rogue or they end up in prison, don't wait 2 years and 11 more months before calling me. But I like to check in every 3 years. And a lot of times things are stable, things are good, but I like to look at it and say, here's who we got in line for this job. Here's who we have in line for this job. And here's our backup. Is that still how we want to do it? So again, you want to keep an eye on the road. We set the destination, the GPS, but we still check traffic in case something's changed. Yeah. So that would be my recommendation. Make sure you pick someone. Don't leave it up to chance. And your C+ option is a heck of a lot better than anyone else. I'm willing to bet on the parent knowing what's best for the child more than some stranger.
Yeah. All right. So there's your answer. If you don't have anyone picked, make that a priority to do so. If you want to sit down with Nick, discuss it further, go to CincinnatiEstatePlan.com. Also, if you have a question, you can also leave a comment down below. Please subscribe as well. We'll have more to come here on the channel. We appreciate the question. Take care.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by estate planning? The process can seem complex, but it doesn't have to be. The Rosenbauer Law Office is dedicated to helping you protect what matters most: your family, your assets, and your peace of mind. Nick and the team will guide you through every step of the process, making sure you feel confident and informed along the way. Take the first step toward peace of mind today. Schedule an introductory call by clicking the link in the description of today's show.
This show is for informational purposes only and does not provide any legal advice. Information on this show may not constitute the most up-to-date legal information. Please do not act or refrain from acting based solely on anything you hear on this show. This show does not form any attorney-client relationship with the Rosenbauer Law Office, LLC. Please seek the counsel of a qualified attorney before addressing your own estate planning needs.